Hey guys, I have a question, a simple question for you today, and that is there an individual diet that's appropriate for each individual, or can we talk about a diet that's appropriate for most individuals? It's as simple as that. So I'm just trying to see what your opinions are about this. Let me know. Either post it in the comments or um, you know some other way. Although I can't think of another, so I guess the comments is where it will be. Because there has been a lot of discussion in social media that I've witnessed, as well as among my patients, where you have people saying, for me individually, keto works. You have another individual says, for me, plant-based works the best, and others, I am Mediterranean or paleo or whatever it may be, and it makes it look or sound as if there is indeed a specific diet that's most appropriate for each person. And if you go from person to person, you'll find out that there is a different diet, really, and sometimes extremely different, that's appropriate for each individual. At least on the surface, that seems to be the case. But my contention here is that actually, even though on the surface, again, it may seem that there is a different diet that's most appropriate for each different individual, my contention as a nutritionist and physician is that there is actually, in general, there is one diet that fits most people, or it's most appropriate for most people. Just like if you have different makes of cars, you could have all the way from, say, Mercedes to, Toyota and everything in between. They look different, they have different sizes, they have different features, and yet when you go to the gas station, you can use the same gas for all of them. In the same manner, even though we look different, we are different, we come from different cultures, different environments, different culinary experiences. When it comes to our metabolism, to what our body actually needs, the dietary needs for the vast majority of individuals are similar. And when we talk about an optimal diet, the best diet, it's the same really for all individuals. By the way, welcome if you join this live. I'm Dr. Gili, and on this channel I try to promote balanced, healthy ideas and principles of eating and lifestyle. If you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to do so. And what I'm discussing today is this simple idea. Is there an individual different diet for different people, or are we talking about one diet that fits all or most people? Now, there are some exceptions to this one diet fits all, which I'm promoting, and that is, for example, in very rare cases, you have somebody with an enzyme deficiency or some inherited condition like PKU, phenylketonuria, and these individuals cannot metabolize a certain nutrient. And in that case, it can build up if they eat a regular normal diet. So for them, avoiding that specific nutrient that can be toxic because they can't metabolize it is very important. Then they can have a very different diet that's required for them. But in general, fortunately, those cases are extremely rare. In all my career as a physician, I probably had less than a handful of such patients with known inherited nutrition difficulties with certain nutrients and things like that. For the vast majority, again, of people, of individuals out there, our metabolism is the same. The way we break down food and we process it and we absorb it and we use it for our body needs is really the same. We're not talking about vast differences between me and you or anybody else. And therefore, it follows that the same diet, optimal diet, if you wish, would work for all of us. But let me know in the chat what you think, and whether you have a counter argument, or example. I'd be very open to look at that. So again, we are discussing here whether there are different, hey, hi there, at the time, whether there are different diets for different people, or whether there is one diet that fits the vast majority of individual needs. That's optimal for most people. Like I said earlier, just like if you have different makes of cars that look different, drive different, and yet when you stop and fuel, you use the same type of gas for most of them. And I think this is important because in this plethora of information that we live in, online, social media, even healthcare providers, nutritionists, everybody seems to come and promote their own thing. Hey, keto is best, or intuitive eating even. There's this idea in nutrition that a lot of nutritionists, even some really good ones otherwise, promote the idea that our bodies feel what we need. So if you are deficient in salt or iodine or whatever it may be, micronutrient, hi there, Eva. Your body feels that and it prompts you to seek the foods that contain those nutrients that you may be low or deficient in. And, this may sound like a very attractive idea. Unfortunately, I don't find much evidence for it in the literature. And moreover, it may be true for a lot of animals. I know, for example, in the case of cattle or goats, that when they are salt deficient, they seek that and they know they are willing to risk going up on faces of dams in the case of certain goats. And they would go there. Nisha, hi there. So it is true for a lot of animals that they have this capability to seek what they are missing nutrient-wise. But for us humans, things are a lot more complex. And because we are susceptible to cravings and food addictions, this whole idea that our body will tell us what we need sits on very thin ground, in my opinion. Hey, you are too, Nisha. So what I mean by that is, what if my body tells me that I want to drink a whole bottle of maple syrup today, right? I feel like I need that. Is that a true nutrition need, or is it something else? So you see, or I can eat 3 chocolates, they are nice. Is that a true nutritional need, or is it more like some sort of a flaw in my perception, in my perceived needs nutritionally? And that's why I'm not a big fan of intuitive eating. Hey, you're welcome here, whether you're a kid or not, though, I discuss things that are appropriate for everybody who's interested in a healthy lifestyle and nutrition. So again, the question in discussion today is whether we can speak of a diet that's appropriate for most people, or whether each unique individual has a unique need or diet. And I said so far that as a nutritionist and as a practicing primary care physician, I strongly contend that there is one optimal diet for most people, unless somebody has some rare, inherited, or acquired metabolic oddity or idiosyncrasy or problem. But beyond that, I want to go 180 in a way and say that even though there is an optimal diet for most people, I'm going to say what that is. From all the studying and I've done, and personally that I followed, a low-processed, plant-based diet is most appropriate for most people. However, when I say that, I also want to quickly acknowledge that when you start with the hundreds of different plant food sources, and you start preparing and learning how to cook, and even studying different culinary cultures, from India to the US to Italian to Russian or whatever else you want to throw in the mix, you can find almost an endless variety or ways to cook these foods. Think of tofu, for example. You can make from it anything from desserts to main meals, to fake cheese, and creams and spreads and all kinds of things. And so the same basic ingredient can be cooked in so many different ways that you do have a lot of variety. And so at the end of the day, I may be plant based, and I've been for over 30 years, and somebody else may be plant based as well. But when you look at our diets, they can be very different in texture, in the way it looks, in flavor, and yet nutritionally, both of our diets supply our needs in a very good way. So when I say that there is a diet for everybody or most people, and that diet I contend has to be a low processed, predominantly or even exclusively plant-based, with as little processed foods as possible, with as little added sugar, added salt, and added fat as possible. At the same time, I acknowledge the fact and I encourage people to experiment with variety, with different recipes, with different ways of cooking food or preparing food, so as to have variety. You know, some people go by color. Every week they eat a different color combination. Some people go by other things. So in that sense, I think it's important to promote variety and not stick with the same one food every day for the rest of your life. Hey, Nisha, it's been good to see you here. So I hope you check this out sometime later. Appreciate you guys being here, and we'll continue to address topics like this in the future. And you are free to suggest or post any questions you may have about nutrition, about healthy eating, about weight loss, lifestyle in general, in the comments section here or in the community section in the posts there. I'll be happy to address them in the future. I'll say bye to you all, including Nisha here, and I'll see you later.